Hi, good morning. It's Christy James, and I'm fixing to do my leading video. This is with the staff that's in my classroom, and we have a huge agenda this morning. Most of it's on a BIP that we have with a student, making sure that the ladies are getting things ready for students in the morning before the students arrive. So that's the main thing. Other areas, we're talking about IEP goals, our kids working out in the community, and other areas that we're working on are just details of like our candle company, our oh gosh, there's so much. I'm having a hard time thinking about it. Mainly is making sure that we're documenting our IEP goals in the appropriate way. So that's pretty much what we cover, since we send those home to parents every 9 weeks. And since by federal law, since we teach special education, that we've got to be able to get these students' IEPs covered within the 9 weeks, or our ultimate goal is to have them mastered. Also, is to talk, what we want to talk about this morning is our fall calendar. We want to brainstorm some ideas about what we're going to do for our community out trips, which is very important since we have students that are in wheelchairs. We want to make sure that, we go to a facility or an out, wherever we're going to go is wheelchair accessible, because we have been to some places in the past that hasn't been very good. I mean, we've hit curbs and different things like that. So other areas that we're going to talk about is we do bill to Medicaid, and our job duties about who does attendance, who does our Medicaid billing on the computers. Let me look what else. Oh, another thing that we do in the classroom that we need to review is tube feeding. We have students that are tube fed, and I want to make sure the nurse comes in and checks us off on that, and I want to make sure that we are doing that right, since I think we have 3 students that are tube fed here in the classroom. Other areas to cover are how our year has started, going forward until the Christmas holidays, what activities we're going to be doing. I'm going to be out in quite a few ARDs, so I have to make sure that the staff knows what the students are supposed to be working on whenever I'm out in ARDs. So that's very, very important. Another thing that I wanted to talk about with the ladies is getting our students on the bus. We've had some issues in the past where we want to make sure that students are ready on time. They've been to the bathroom before they get on the bus. They've got their backpacks. Just some general classroom management that we wanted to cover this morning. Other areas that we're probably going to be covering are jobs out in the community is our biggest issue right now, is getting students out on the jobs, since they do work out in the community, making sure they have those job skills to transition when they leave our school district. So, they can go over into our Navarro program, which is outstanding. And we also have another nonprofit organization that's going to be called Bridges Training Program, that they're going to be able to work out in the community and continue those job skills. So that's why it's so important that we get those kids out, the higher functioning students out in the community working. Another thing is my paraprofessionals dealing with parents. That's just another area I want to cover, making sure that I'm kept up to date. If they write notes in the folders and just different things like that. I want to make sure that, I'm not missing anything as far as communication with the parents, because that can lead to other issues as communication can get mixed up. So that's another area that we're going to be visiting about this morning. So we're about to get started. Thanks. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yep. Okay. First of all, thank y'all for coming in this morning, because I know that was tough, especially with you with your getting kids to school. So I have our agenda. Excuse me. And it's just a combination of different things that I wanted us just to cover, because I know we started out with kind of a crazy school year, and we did get a new student. So I want to just thank y'all first of all for all your hard work. It is sincere, seriously. I also wanted to let you know of, wanted to make sure that y'all knew, first of all, that our nurse was going to come in and check y'all off on the tube feeding. So that is the, I don't know who else has been checked off already.
I have.
You have?
She said I had.
Okay, so everybody's been checked off by the nurse.
Mhm.
Okay, that was the morning thing. I wanted to make sure that we had that done, because there is some ARDS coming up that they want that done. They want to know that we're trained.
Yes.
Okay. On our morning routine, if y'all want to just make sure that everybody or all of our students have their stuff out and ready to go. And I think, Linda, you and I talked about yesterday that we wanted to make sure that even over in the shredding room, we had that student's stuff where he just transitions into the next activity. I do have his schedule. It's in my office, and I'll print that for y'all today, and we can laminate it. And it starts from the time he gets off the bus. And it goes all the way through 7th period. He does have other visuals at his desk that we could use too, in addition to the ones that we've clipped on his belt. So I think those are good, but I think it's going to take a while for him to get used to transitioning over with.
Is he used to that one where it's all stuck, that board?
That was what they used in the other class. So I'm assuming, yes, that was used regularly over there.
We just need to set it up with what.
Yeah. And I think we did put it at the back of his desk.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And when I say morning routine, mainly just, closing the dryer, or if there's clothes in the dryer, get them out, put them in the basket so one of the boys can have a job to do. Just different things. If you see, if we've left something out, pick it up, or y'all know what to do in the mornings. I guess I just want us to be ready in case there is an emergency in the mornings. Because those do come up. One other thing that I wanted to make sure of, and I think that she's doing this, is I wanted to make sure that our student LG is going to the bathroom after lunch. Because I think there was one day she forgot to go. And I know she's going with another student. And I'm glad that they're buddying up to go across campus together. But I don't want her to rush and not come back here first to go to the restroom, because she's got to do that. Okay? I'm going to try to put students' work out on their desk before I leave at night. But that's, if y'all see that there's not stuff on their desk, if y'all could just put that out in the morning. Okay? And I'm going to try to get that done myself. And then that way, I think that, especially our higher functioning ones over here, I think they kind of look for that in the mornings. I do know there's one boy that does,
Yes.
And he likes to get started as soon as he sits down.
Right.
And I think I said, if in the afternoon, which is crazy, I know, or in the mornings, if there's teaching supplies out here that we haven't used in a while, if we could store them back there, that would be good too. Then that way, we know what we're using. And another thing is if a sub comes in. Because if we have a sub coming in, then that sub knows what that student has to work on. And we might even think about putting their names back on the shelves where their manipulatives are. You know, I think at one time we had their names on
Yes, we
them.
did.
I think they've kind of fallen off every once in a while. And we talked about putting a check for the clothes, to put them in the washing machine. Okay, the lift batteries. I do need to ask y'all, are we running on one lift battery?
Yes, because the other one doesn't fit. I don't know if we can get the guy to come back and try to redo it.
Okay.
Because for some reason it fits one, but it doesn't fit the other one. It gets jammed in it.
I think that's because he kind of put that battery
Yes.
together himself. So I'll email Ms. Bates over at SPED office and have her email maintenance again and see if we can get another battery, because we've got to have a backup. Okay. Medicaid billing. Make sure that you're doing that. I would just do it along with attendance. Who do we need to train on that? Okay, you. Okay.
It's kind of difficult. We set it up, but when you're working with certain students in the afternoon, or there's one time where on Tuesday I didn't really. I think I might have gotten to do a little bit of
Right.
it. Just couldn't quite get it
I
done.
know. Where are you fifth period, Linda?
Fifth period, I'm usually here.
Okay.
It's just that somebody has to remind me because
I know.
I figure it's done already.
I
and
know.
I'm mistaken, and
Right.
I did print out that list and put one on our.
yeah.
On the file cabinet?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, that's
Here
good.
On other
I
computers.
just know that mine was Tuesday, and I didn't get to it.
Well, and y'all have to remind me on Fridays when I have to do it because it's crazy. But yeah, and it could be, we have to write it up on the whiteboard for a while to be able to remember.
Just say.
Or we'll remind you, Miss Linda.
Gotta do it. 'Cause I get out of the habit.
I know, yeah.
This afternoon, can you? Yeah.
In all of our spare time, we'll teach you.
We have so much. I should be
Yeah.
able to in the afternoon.
Okay,
It's okay.
thanks for doing all that on the Medicaid stuff. Kind of taking that over because I know that's hard. Okay, Medicaid billing goes along with doing attendance too. So when you're right there at the computer, just take care of attendance too. Okay, here's our deal on the binders, and I know our one student, we're waiting to see if those IEP goals are gonna change. They are going to change. But I have the ARD this morning at 9:15. I'm sorry, staffing for the ARD at 9:15, and the ARD is at 10. So I don't know how long that ARD's gonna last, but once we get approval from parents on those IEP goals, we'll need to change those out and then run more copies.
There's a NF's stuff, his binder, it's hard to do the afternoon. I'm not sure
Okay.
exactly what we need to
Is
do.
it his goals,
Um,
or is it just,
it's just hard to know what to put down, what he's.
okay, I'll
It's
look at
very
it.
confusing.
Is it?
Yeah,
The
it's
morning
confusing.
one is okay, you know, cause sort of explains and it goes by each day,
But
but
then
when it gets
the-
the afternoon, it doesn't.
It
seem
doesn't.
It broke up like that.
Yes.
Okay,
Anyway, so
Okay.
I haven't, I wrote it up once a little bit, so wasn't really sure.
Really
Okay.
need to redo it, cause there's not enough room. You
Yeah,
need
there's
glasses.
oh.
It's just like,
So maybe we need to make the lines bigger. Would that help?
Or add a couple.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, it's just one line and try
Yeah.
to squeeze.
trying to squeeze it all in there and then it's not, you can't really read it. Okay, we'll need to write that on our list is to
Redo.
redo, binder. Okay. Here's the deal on, our goals. Whenever you're documenting, if you have any questions, first of all, just ask me. I know they're all confusing. But if it says that, you know, a student's gonna do 20%, 50%, you know, that's your own observation of what the student did, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do is if we're involved in this, I'm gonna change the goals up to say, teacher 50%, you know, student 50%, okay? Now, here's where it's gonna get confusing. there are a couple of goals where you've got to take the data. So let's go over data. Data can be anything from, your time limit. Okay, little Johnny did that independently, but he did it at 40%. Okay? Then he did that same task again, but what I observed, he only did that one at 30%. Okay? That's the type of data we need. Okay? If it's 3 out of 4, which is totally different, which to me, that is a better way with our students, and to me, it's more realistic to do 3 out of 4, 1 out of 5, We need to show data again, and I think with how we've done GH's goals of being able to write that out, how we're showing our data now, is perfect. But we've gotta have that data to back us up. Cause it's gotta be able to, that's how we get our numbers, and if the student has mastered it. We've gotta be able to go back and look at that data, okay? Another thing that I wanted to talk about was our new student NF. I think right now, he's really confused. I think that, again, we need to rotate him out if we need to. I think that, he has a lot of anxiety. And I think we did kind of see, or we kind of, observed through what he was saying, that there's a lot going on, okay? So, I guess I just want to make sure that if we do need a break from that student, whatever time of the day it is, speak up, okay? Or if you have a student that your student doing good, right now they're just taking a break, they might be sitting down, they're actively engaged in what they're supposed to be doing, maybe ask if you can relieve that other teacher or ask to help out. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And we work as a team anyway, I have no doubt about that. We're a great team. I mean, the best that we've had. I don't have any worries about that at all. I do think that on his schedule, and since we've got the new schedule topped out, if we're consistent, he's gonna get used to that. Because he wants that routine. That's just part of that, okay? But again, it's gonna take all of us, unfortunately, to be able to get him on that schedule. And I really, really believe that we can do that. I've already seen improvement. He's already anticipating what he's gonna do next. He's already asking for his computer time. And I think that again, once he establishes that routine, it's just gonna be better for us, okay? And if y'all have any questions on that, let me know, okay? Okay, peer mentors that come in the classroom, I've had several that have, or I'm sorry, not several. I've had one that decided she would get her cell phone out. They are not allowed to get their cell phones out in this classroom, okay? And, and that goes right back to our cell phones. Just keep it on vibrate, maybe in your pocket or in the, over at your desk. Cause I always say, well, if they see us on our cell phones, then they think that's okay. But they're supposed to be working with the students. That's their whole goal. So I wanna make sure that our students are getting what they need out of the peer mentors, and the peer mentors not just on the cell phone. Okay? Now, I've seen it the most when they're at the computers. See? So, okay. Let's look at our calendars and let's maybe brainstorm a few ideas about where we wanted to go for some community out trips. We need to maybe think about if we wanna look for activities that are close. I know we had talked about the Dallas Arboretum, but it seems like that's fast and furious because of the drive.
We also talked about pause for reflection.
That pause for reflection, I think, is a great idea.
Picking out pumpkins.
And we could do the pause for reflection maybe on a Tuesday, and then from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, do our pumpkin activities we talked about. where they would decorate pumpkins. We could extend that learning into doing the pumpkin seeds. You know, baking them, show them how to clean them. What else should we do? Or, I guess, I'm sorry, I need to back up. Do we want to just do activities in October and no out trip and save our out trip for December? And then another one in spring?
We only get two?
It is. Well, that's what we've normally had was two. Uh-huh. Because due to our budgets,
Okay.
yeah. So, I do know, you know, I thought about us doing, you know, their shopping list and let them do Christmas shopping. You know, we could do the angel tree this year, if we want to. I mean, if you wanna think about it, I know we have some bowling dates coming up.
That's true, I
Yeah,
just
we
realized
did.
that.
And does anybody, I have the dates, but I didn't write them in this calendar.
There's
Oh, I'm
starting-
sorry, I did. It's, the first one is September the 22nd,
Oh, it's like,
next Tuesday. So it's gonna be coming up really quick.
yeah, I had a senior ask me about that.
And I'm not sure yet, but I think the other one is on the 24th.
For the same week?
I think so.
29.
I can let you, on the 29th? Okay, all right,
She
the
might
29th. We'll double check that.
And
Well,
is
it
it
may
going
not
to
be ours, I'm looking at it.
Is it gonna?
Yeah.
Well, the Hunters is the same. Isn't it? Oh,
Well,
I'm sorry.
they practice on some days that might be different since that's middle school. And I think that's due to having enough buses to transport them to
Oh,
the
okay.
bowling alley.
Ours is
Yeah,
I
I
know.
think our dates are different.
Right. I know sometimes though we did do them together.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Are they gonna do them in,
Waxahachie.
Duncanville?
You know, I'm not sure yet. I've got the email, I just need to print it. He
Okay.
sent it yesterday
Okay,
with the dates and I think where it's gonna be at.
okay.
So I'll get all that to you. So I'll get the bowling dates and print that out for you guys. Okay, think about again what we wanna do with I like to do a community trip sometime in the fall and then another one in the spring. So y'all can think about that. You know, we may wanna, go to the park and make hot dogs. We do have our little grill, a little propane grill that we could take and do hot dogs and go to Kimmel Park in the spring.
To
Do,
interrupt.
no, you're not interrupting.
Back to the bowling.
Yeah,
How is GH gonna do this?
that depends on his schedule and when he leaves. That, you know, I'll let that decision be the parents.
Okay. He might be able to
Whether
go
he,
with us.
right,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So I'll again have to wait till we see what the parents would like to do in that situation.
Are we gonna wear the same shirt?
Oh, that's another thing. Don't forget, you need to purchase your shirt only if you want to. Only if you want to. Feel free. I have a lot of other Special Olympic t-shirts I can give you. I have two in my office. If you don't feel like you want to purchase that $10 shirt, ask me. I have tons of shirts. Or feel free to wear your Midlothian ISD shirt. I mean, don't feel like you have to have that. You don't. Candles. I do need to order some more wax. I've gotta have time to sit down and do a purchase order for that. And that's a long process, so as soon as I get that, but I think we should start making what we've got with the wax we've got. Maybe look at some fall scents, so if somebody wants to go through and pick a couple of fall scents, you wanna do that, Sonia?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, well, if you want to, we do have that new apple, I'll show it to you over here after we get through the meeting.
Me and Dan can do that.
Okay. Also, I'll try to get approval for when we get them all made and we can maybe sell them in the cafeteria, we'll put them in the student store. Okay. Okay, jobs outside in the community. We wanted to be able to, get our 3 students out on the jobs.
Yes, I've already contacted Brookshire's, and LB is set and ready. We're just
Okay.
waiting on transportation
Okay.
issues to get, situated.
That's awesome. Okay, so we're just waiting on transportation on it, to be able to decide if we're gonna be getting a Suburban or a bus to get them to
Correct.
work.
Correct.
Right, okay, good, thank you. Y'all see any other jobs out in the community? I wanna say I saw a help wanted sign, and I cannot remember where it was at. But if you see something, then maybe we can call them and we'll start writing them down, jobs for our kids. All right, I'm gonna start planning, we did kind of plan our Christmas baskets of all the stuff the students were gonna make, and we kinda got that started. So, when we get a chance, when we have our next meeting, I'll gather that all up, and we can review that. One other thing, and again, this is not right now, it's not pressing, but I wanna be able to, for us to redo those binders in there. I really would like to be able to get rid of the binders. I don't know if we need to go crates and a filing system, I don't know. We'll just be thinking about that too. We've already planned our food for our budget, we did that. Again, we are limited on our budget, our food budget. So,
Is it the same as last year?
yes, it is,
Okay,
we
at
have
least
no
they didn't
increase.
cut it again.
Right, we didn't get it cut, but we've still got the
Didn't.
same amount, but at least we've got it, so that's what's important. Alright, please bring me up to date, and y'all are really good about this. If I miss something in the students' folders, or a parent writes a note in the folders that go home with the students, maybe just say, Christy, there's a note in there, you know. I try to get to them second period, because to me, first period's kind of crazy with the pledge and announcements, and then getting everybody where it's supposed to be, and backpacks and lunches. But then by second period, I try to get to them, and if there's any notes, we'll get those done. Okay. I know, Laura, you had said something about, we have a bunch of shredders that need to be fixed. I'm gonna try to get a work order on those. A lot of them are too old, they're out of warranty. It's very hard to go back and fix them. But I will look at our budget and maybe we can purchase 2 more. I'm not making any promises, but I can still look at those.
Okay.
And it could be, we could order those through the office, when again, do a purchase order. Alright, make sure, you know what students' schedules are. So the students you're assigned to, you know, if they've got choir one period, make sure you're getting ready early enough and allowing time to get them down there, where you're not, you know, rushing. And, to get all the way across campus, as we know, it's a long walk. We already talked about making sure that we pick up the room, you know, maybe clear these tables off. I know our student NF, I need to have him start wiping these down as far as his classroom jobs. So that would, if we could clear this off at some point in the day, then he can start wiping the tables off with the wipes, and then maybe even help him with the laundry. And then, some other duties. That's all I have. Do y'all have anything that we need to add?
I was gonna ask you about, L, B, and MG's schedule. Were they ever gonna go down to the other teacher's classroom? Or does that change?
Yes, they are,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and right now, that hasn't started, and I'm glad you brought that up. Ms. Hackney and I did, we visited about that. I just need to call her again, and we do need to start that, yes.
That's what, just,
I think things have been a little crazy down there, and then I think making adjustments. I do know that NF will not be going down there. His schedule, we switched it where he's permanently in here.
yeah.
But if you do see some of your students that go down to the other CBI class, don't take them down there until I let you know. I need to talk to her first.
We have to figure out when and where
Yes.
they work. their
Yes,
times.
Yes,
yes.
because we have to get that.
And then the 2 students, you know, we're delivering copies from Mr. Shaw. Maybe if they can make those phone calls, which is great for one of the students to be able to do that. Not only to learn how to use the phone, but communication skills will be great for him in the future.
Yeah.
So then that way, we can help out Mr. Shaw. I think yeah, he's been calling us, but really, we need to teach those kids that's their responsibility to make that phone call. And, again, it's just getting back into those habits. We're in the third week of school, and, we're still working the kinks out, so. Is there anything else that we need to visit about, or we can add it to our next agenda, or what we need to talk about next time?
Just need to figure out the trips.
Our trips.
Yes, the trips.
Yeah, 'cause I've gotta allow again for the purchase order for the money for that,
Mm-hmm.
and the buses and different things like that, so. I really appreciate y'all coming in this morning. Again, if we see that we need to break off and help each other, I know we'll do that, so. We'll get through it.
Yes.
All right, thank you ladies very much, I really appreciate it. Okay, we're doing our this is my wrap up. We had a great meeting. We had a lot to cover on our agenda today. I like to have the paras input on our meetings, because they're again here with our students in the classroom. Their opinion matters just as much as I do. They know the students. They know what's in the best interest for them. The ladies that work with me have been with me for quite a while. They are truly an asset to our classroom and our students. We have a lot going forward, even into the month of into this month, and of course all the way up until December. So we have students bowling. We have students that are going to be going out daily to jobs. Just lots of stuff. Documentation on IEPs. Just the normal classroom responsibilities take up a lot of our time. But our students, of course, are the most important. We did cover a lot. I like to have the teachers' input on community out trips that we want to do. To me, again, that just empowers them, and to me is team building. Again, their ideas and what they have to say is just as important as to what I have to say. So other areas that we missed we'll cover in the next meeting. We usually try to meet about once a month, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. So it may be 2 months. But this year we were able to get our meeting in early, but that also they had to come in early. So other things that I thought about, and of course during the meeting, there's probably other things that we didn't get to, but again we'll get to those later. Our classroom, there's a lot involved with our students. So I want to make sure as a teacher that we're meeting all their needs, and of course going forward as a principal, that would be an observation of other teachers teaching. I want to make sure that those students' needs are being met by those teachers also. I can't think of anything else that I needed to cover. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. One thing that we do have that also helps in our meetings is we all have calendars. I usually try to get the ladies' calendars at the end of, the school year before, so that when we start the school year, because we have so much training and CPR and restraint training and different things like that, that we're all on the same page. We have calendars throughout our classroom that we follow. And it also, to me, keeps us, again, all on the same page. We're all working together as a team in the best interest of the students. So that way, our planning, to me, our planning is very, very important. That goes along with planning the curriculum, What are we going to do for students' IEP goals? What curriculum do we need to pull? Do we need to make adjustments to that student's IEP goals? What's working for a student, what's not working for a student, and we did discuss that this morning in this meeting. So, and to me, that's an ongoing process, is what we need to do for our students, is making those adjustments, to me, are very, very important. And that also goes along within the classroom, is making adjustments, making changes, and time management. And here in this classroom with special needs, time is critical. We have a pretty strict time schedule on tube feeding. So we have two students that are tube fed. So that's one reason why we need to keep our time management. How we manage our time in the classroom is really important. Anyway, that's my wrap up. Thank you.